upper echelon of whatever subject matter we are talking about, whether it's music, movies, comedy, playing at Bond Hall, which I think I got that award. But hey, I'm talking.
I'm gonna say this, and see it don't matter the circumstances. If you the GOAT, once you win it, it's something that's what make greatness come out of you, because you finding ways to win it when you against all odds. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot. It takes some luck sometimes, but just because you've been there a lot, you gotta win it more than once. You gotta win it consistently.
What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Apartment 4A. E-Kales, what's up, brother?
Man.
Your volume just go out.
Man, as soon as you started talking, my sound went out. Hold on.
I can hear you, though. I can hear you. Mr. Killer is trying to get his sound together. I don't know if he got it on, but I can hear him. But we want to welcome everybody to another episode, and we'll try to keep everything rolling. This weekend was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day again. I know we did a little bit last week, but again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers who, are out there doing the thing that they supposed to be doing. We appreciate you guys being out there. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Mr. Kelly, and the rest of the Apartment 4A.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Happy Father's Day, fellas.
Yeah. So, as we get into this episode, because it was Father's Day and this month being Men's Month, we thought it'd be necessary to kind of continue the conversation about being men and rolling right out of Father's Day. We wanted to kind of talk about one of them subjects that basically make you a father, and that's how to be one. The things that it takes to be a father, the things that you are doing now. As a parent, as a co-parent with your significant other, wife, or whatever your situation may be. And at the same time, things that you're doing, things that have changed over the years. All of us have kids who have gotten a lot older. Some of us have high schoolers or almost high schoolers, preteens, and things are changing. We got to think about stuff like dating and things like stuff of that nature is coming up. So that's what we're gonna kind of jump into today. The do's and don'ts or the pressures of being fathers. And one thing I can say, even with myself, I'm only 5 years in, and I would say most definitely, I don't know if I said it before, ain't no book on how to be a daddy. And if there is a book, whatever in it ain't right.
I'm telling you, I agree, man.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's hard out there, but it is something different. Something I thought I was ready for, but didn't quite have an understanding of what it was until my little one got there, and it was like, oh, that's what being a daddy is. The sacrifices.
Yeah, and that's for right now. It's gonna change, as they get older, and they're gonna need you in different ways.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I'm only 7 years in with my oldest, but kind of going through and looking at my youngest, the older she gets and the more autonomy that she's supposed to have, we look back at when they were like babies, it was like, man, that was easier. But at the time, it was like, man, this is rough. But once you start, getting to the point where you're supposed to be, raising a human being, like you're supposed to be teaching them things, they're supposed to be hitting certain milestones and stuff. Like, that's when the work really kind of ramp up, starting trying to shape who they're going to be.
Yeah. JP, what's up, brother?
Man, what's going on? All is well. I hope everybody doing good. Y'all looking good.
Oh man, we doing good, man. Doing good. Like I was telling Eric too, happy Father's Day to you as well, man. All the things we got. How old is your oldest daughter right now?
We just celebrated Sweet 16. About three to 4 weeks ago. We just celebrated Sweet 16. So she's setting the tone. So
May baby's in the house, man. Yes, what's up?
Yeah.
Sweet 16 to 3 years old. So it's
you got the full spectrum over there, man.
Yeah.
At least you got a boy in the mix.
There you go. At least you ain't by yourself.
Yeah. You say it don't make a difference yet.
You might be outnumbered, but you ain't by yourself.
Eventually, man.
But as part of Men's Health Week, things that we have to talk about, being healthy is being fathers. That's one of the things that we do, and that we do. I feel like we do a pretty good job knowing all you guys and the things that you guys do for your families. I feel like we do a really good job at that, and I think it's time for some people to kind of tell their story a little bit about things that worked, things that didn't work. I know as I get older, I kind of reminisce on the things that
there's the proof. If anybody ever questioned if Rob was really a daddy, the proof is in the pudding right there.
What's up, man? All right.
What's going on, man?
Hey.
What's up, man?
Give me some love.
I love you.
Love you too, man. Good night.
Give him that bedtime hug.
Never gets old, man.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That's what's up. But I started to think about the things that my dad did when I was younger, and then look at the stuff that I do now, and look at stuff like, okay, how do I compare? How the sacrifices they made in the 80s and 90s versus the things that I have to do now. Some of the things that they did and understanding why they did it today versus, being upset then because I couldn't get my way. Those difficult decisions. I think that's one of the things about being a father that a lot of people don't think about, man. A lot of time those difficult decisions come down on you. Not saying that mothers don't do that, but a lot of times we kind of looked at making those difficult decisions. I know, especially with me having a son, he looks at me like a leader. At least I feel like you do, and I try my best to be the best leader that I can be. And so sometimes he don't like the decisions I make, but I have to understand that, hey, this is what's best for you. You may not understand it right now, but right now we need to do what's best. So
yeah, that's interesting, man. I'm in, I guess, the opposite boat where I have to look a lot at what my dad did and make sure I'm not doing a lot of that stuff. but also, like you said, kind of looking back and having a different perspective and understanding more of why it was harder to do things the way I felt like they should have been done. Right. Understanding like the struggles, especially being men, like we're talking about, like it's being able to maintain our own, mental and emotional health and being able to cover other people, like while maintaining our own and kind of trying to maintain that balance and the struggle that we have doing that. I think about that a lot, and also thinking about, specifically my mom being a single mother and like just the stress that had to entail. It's interesting.
Yeah. JP, how do you deal, or what, especially with you having a 16-year-old, what are some of the challenges that you have being 16-year-old, still in your 30s? What are some of the challenges you have being a father and trying to teach a young lady to know what to expect?
Well, I will say this: the disclaimer on what you were talking about earlier is 2023. So everything that had happened before 2023, you might well just throw it out the window and start over again because we live in a brand new. This is a brand new world,
Yeah.
Hey, I feel
and
you, man.
like you said, man, it's you know I'm a lot. I'm biased because I see it every day, and I see what the
Mm,
future is kind of headed to. So I'm more. I'm not gonna say protective, but I try to don't bring work from home. But on certain situations, I kind of do bring it because I know what the end gonna be. But to answer your question, you know, the best way to what helped me was I kind of observed before it happened. You know, you can kind of see the traits and tendencies on the way somebody's walking and towards leaning to before it happened. And you know, just having little small conversation, you know, try to give them a sense of ownership, entitlement, you know, not entitlement, but a little ownership and you know, just give them a little leeway, but also, you know, just like, you know, having the reins on the deer, you know, hey, get a little too far, time to come back in. But I know for a fact, you know, my wife and I, man, you know, the seed has been, it helped us because the seed has been planted. You know what I mean? And by the seed being planted since they were toddlers, babies, you know, it's easy to have those conversations now. And you know, like I said, my wife, she could jump in quick with one, I could jump in quick with one. And, you know, because of the seed being planted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. You know, that's the biggest thing. The seed is planted in you one way or another, and you try to do that same thing that's planted into the next life, and hopefully help that life move forward. Trying to stay healthy and mental aware is most definitely something that you have to do, especially with you, JP, being in the school system, and you see all types of kids from both ends of the spectrum, and you know you're trying to do what you can at work without bringing that home. And so
yeah.
that's one of the things that we all have to deal with, especially since COVID. One of my things is, you know, trying to be mindful that the internet is everywhere. And these kids, the way they use technology versus the way that I learned technology is totally different, and they are growing with it. And it's where we grew into it. They are growing with it. They're using a lot earlier. They're exposed to a lot more stuff. And so trying to find healthy ways to give them information without overloading them, you know, or giving them something too early. Because, you know, I hear this all the time. I hear it all the time. You go, um, man, your son or your daughter already doing this. They already doing whatever is like, you know, kids are doing things early sooner and sooner, and it's one of those things that you want to be sure that your child still got a chance to be a child. You know, you trying to and not growing too fast and not getting into stuff too early, but still have that level of innocence that's necessary to grow into. So I feel you, JP.
Right. You said a mouthful of words there. Uh growing kids growing too fast with and maintaining their innocence. And as adults, we that's what we don't know where to draw the line at. You know, like you said, we'll give them the thing, we'll give them the phone, give them the internet, and let them go do what they do with it. But then wonder, you know, because at the end of the day, when your kids leave you, there is another lifestyle that they live. You know, because you got to fit in with your peers, you got to do all this and the third, and a lot of time we don't know how to accept that reality. Uh, that our kids act different away from us, and man, and you know, you see it in like I definitely catch it in sports. You know, when my child been doing this since six, I've been having them playing contact just because they've been doing stuff for so long. Don't mean they're right or they're good at it. And a lot of times, a lot of habits we allow to continue because of the reality in which we live in, like TikTok, Instagram, and everything. You know, like you said, that's their expressions, their mode. That's how they vent. Instead of conversating, they so I don't know. Let me hush. It just this topic can go everywhere. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit back.
It just go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, you kind of got me thinking about that because I think specifically as Black parents, Black fathers, mortality and just life or death kind of is in our minds a lot more often than other races. And so I think that there's a struggle for us to maintain our innocence, right? Especially as young boys. You're taught that you need to start concerning yourself about with adults like very early, like worrying about how they perceive you and what type of response people are going to have to you, whether you're doing something wrong or not. But it's interesting because we're at a time where children are staying with their parents longer, almost than ever. I just looked at an article and it said that kids are staying home just as long now as they did back in the Great Depression. Like that was the last time you had people staying home as long as they are now. And I think that goes a lot into taking that time to pour into your kids and help build them up so that they have a solid foundation when they go out versus, trying to, rush them along too fast, trying to hurry up and get them out. Like really, you might be doing them a disservice with that mindset. So even just rethinking that, reconsidering that, like JP said, 2023, everything you knew before now, throw it out the window, man. You kind of gotta be more aware of what's out here now because it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Eric, my bad, Rob, but Eric, you're right. We don't prepare our kids for life after high school. We try to cater them, shelter them, keep them in, and you got to let them go. You got to let them go, and that's what a lot of times we as parents don't want to do. And by doing it, we're hindering, because people don't. It's okay to fail. It is okay to fail as long as you know how to get back up. Yeah. And like with mine, I encourage them. It's okay to mess up. Like now she got a job. I said, no, you're gonna pick a bad job to work. Start out working at something that I thought McDonald's was gonna be the worst thing in her life, but shoot, she loves it. But at the end of the day, by her doing what she's supposed to do academics, she's gonna get rewarded, but she also gonna be held to a certain standard on when she gets, just to help her with rules and responsibility. Because like I was telling the other day, you're gonna have a wreck in the car, you're gonna have an accident just because that's life and you're young and you're gonna make mistakes. But the thing is, how do you come back from? Do you learn your lesson? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? And that's one thing that we leave out in child rearing, But that's going back what Eric said. We don't prepare kids for the future, how to handle being an adult.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. It's that balance. Like Corbin was saying here, and the only way you fail is if you stop trying. It's one of the things, like, I'm prepared for kindergarten. I got a 5-year-old getting ready to go to kindergarten. And one of the things, they gave us a little kindergarten package to go through. And my son get frustrated when we get to something that he don't know. He get frustrated, now he don't want to do it. And I had to keep reminding him all the time that, son, we're practicing. This is not the end. We're here practicing. We're here learning how to do this. And we have to continue to practice. Okay, if you mess up. Like if that's supposed to be green and you accidentally color brown, that's fine. You recognize your mistake, you correct it and move on. And I think that's where we don't. One of the things I feel like we've gotten away from as parents is, and I hate to say it like this, but it's doing homework. It's one of those things where, I see a lot of parents ask, did you finish your homework? But how many of them are actually checking to make sure that it's done and done correctly? How many people are sitting down and assisting, their kids with their homework? Stuff like that makes a difference, to get that extra practice in to help them understand that, hey, you don't have to do it by yourself. I'm not going to hold your hand, but I ain't going to let you
Give up.
crawl either or give up. Right. Get frustrated and give up. And so it's that balance, man. And and I think the most important balance of all of it is the balance of us. A lot of times stuff like that get put on the mothers, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with mom doing homework, but I think it's important for children to be able to see their fathers do some of those things too. And it don't always have to be something so physical. Sometimes it's like, hey, I'm gonna show you how I use my mind, or I'm gonna teach you some things that allow you to think versus oh, daddy big and strong, daddy fast. Daddy smart too.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, the reason why I was late coming up here was because Ashley gave Kyla some letters to do, and her thing is she always get frustrated. She already starts telling herself she can't do this, and she can't do that. She's not good at this, and I'm like, hey, don't say you're not good at that. You just need to practice. That's what we're doing right now. She's like, but what if I mess up? I'm like, that's okay. Guess what? Look at all the space we got. You try again. But all I want you to do is try. That's what I'm asking you to do. You ain't gonna not try. You get in trouble. But you ain't got to get it right. You ain't got to get it perfect. We're just gonna try. And we worked through it. She cried, and but she drew it. And when she drew it perfect, I let her know. We high fived and woohooed and all of that. But I think you hit it on the head, like teaching them, sharing how we think with them as well, like giving them a different perspective than mama. Letting them giving them a double dose of that.
Right. One of the things you can try too, Eric. I mean, you're doing great. That's awesome. I heard you say she cried. My son's doing the same thing. So we have this saying: we're trying, not crying. That's our saying. Like we can't just cry and give up. We got to try. We're gonna try and not cry. And so but you're absolutely right. That's exactly how I did the exact same way. It's like, hey, it's okay. Let's go to the next line. Let's try it again. We can't just accept the failure. One of the things, I don't even know where my son got it from, but he's been going around, well, not going around, but he said it a couple of times, I'm shy. And so I asked him yesterday, I said, what does shy mean? He was like, I don't know.
That's very good.
I was like, well, how can you be shy if you don't know what it is?
Look, that's probably been the biggest thing. We learned that with my oldest, because she's smart, right? She's going into third grade. She's going to be in gifted classes, like been reading before she went to kindergarten, reading and writing. So she really bamboozled us, right? We thought we was great parents. No, she just super smart. But we didn't realize that she could use words that she didn't know what they meant. Like, it didn't cross our mind, really.
Yeah.
And until it was like one day, I think she was like 3 or 4. We asked her like if she knew what the word she was saying meant, because she was using like she knew. Just like Cedric was saying, like, I'm shy. Like, you wouldn't assume that he had no idea what shy meant. And like when we asked her, I forget what the word was, but she was like, I don't know what it means. So it's like, dang, like that's another layer of understanding your kids and kind of helping them navigate through life, because they don't even know what they don't know.
Right.
And they're like that was a big like aha moment for me, to sometimes like and that's a fundamental part of communication too, that I think even as adults people struggle with, is making sure we both on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, if you're using a word, like, do you know what that word means? Like, is it a good word? Is it a bad word? Is that a word that we use? Should you feel that way about yourself? Like, just kind of talking stuff out versus, just kind of taking stuff at face value.
Absolutely. And that's why we have to stay mentally strong for them. Because a lot of times they don't understand, and we can't, like you said, we can't just assume that they know what they're talking about. So, we have to be sure, just like, the society or now people are saying that, hey, man, you should talk more, you should ask more questions or whatnot. It's the same way with kids. We have to ask the questions for them. We have to, because they don't know. Dad, I'm shy. What does shy mean? All they know is somebody else said it, or they heard somebody say it, so now they saying it. And you said, well, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm just shy.
Man. That was funny.
But Rod, you know what we tend to do as adults? We don't let kids be kids.
Right.
We always would tell a child, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, hush, hush, hush. In reality, the kid, that's how they learn. You know, that's how they learn
Mm.
levels. That's how they learn how to communicate. That's how they learn to embrace human interaction. But every time you be with someone, you or a child, you go, shh, be quiet, or you know, like you said, the shyness and stuff of that nature, they learn to grow out of it. You know, just teaching them how, like you said, just teaching them. You know,
Mm.
but that's one thing that we do tell them. We tell them to go against the grain of being a human.
Yeah.
You know, just throw a TV in front of them, say, go have fun.
I know that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit it on the head, JP. Like, well, my oldest, she wasn't really like she just loved being up under us, so we didn't have to fight that battle. But my youngest, she not having it. You gonna talk to her, you gonna interact with her, you gonna play with her. She coming to see you. Tablet, TV, you can give her a phone, TV, tablet, all at the same time. She gonna look at that for a second, and then she go, "Hey, we gotta talk. What you doing? What
Yeah.
you got going on?" But she also just naturally loud, like regular talking, like on 10 as soon as she wake up. And so, we had to understand that like that's normal for her. Right. Of course, we're supposed to teach her and like guide her toward being able to conduct herself in the classroom and stuff like that. But she needs a time and a space to be able to do that. Like that is not wrong. It's just there's a time for it and there's a time where you can't do it. So
Mm.
making sure that we try to, give her that time to do it. So going outside and make sure she can run off some energy, something like that. And the importance of that, I think our parents didn't have to think about that, especially before, when our parents were growing up, their parents didn't think about it because it was, hey, go get out the house.
Yeah. Go
Going
outside.
out. You
Go
ain't had
out.
nothing you ain't had nothing to compete with. You went outside, you did a whole bunch of stuff you might or might not have been supposed to do. So by the
As
time you
long
got
as you
back
doing it
home,
outside, ain't
yeah, exactly. So you got a chance to burn off the energy and be curious and make mistakes, and you know, it was a different time. So
yeah. You just can't now. The traffic is different now.
yeah,
It's with the internet, people are out, doing all types of stuff. I mean, I remember times I still stay in the same area for people who know me. I stay in the area where I grew up, literally, like, and while I can see my childhood home out my back door. But I wouldn't dare let my child go out and do some of the stuff I did when I was little, only because there's way more people out here now. Like when I was there, it was like a car might have came out once an hour. Now it's every 15 minutes. And it's like, I mean, I can't let you go outside by yourself at this age right now
yeah.
because you literally might get hit.
And they be
Where
speeding too.
and they be wide open. And we got speed bumps. They'll call me wide
Mhm.
open.
Oh yeah, they'll go
And
up on
see,
school, come up through there.
and see, you right, Rod. You know, like my girls, they go down the road. You know, when my mom lived or my father-in-law house, they go walking, and like I said, just being kids, just going out playing, throwing, just being kids. But once again, me, they don't need to be down there. They don't, but I have to bite the tongue because, like you said, you gotta let them grow up. But
You gotta let them do it.
but we know the hidden dangers of the world, so it just
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, JP, I'm glad you got on because I had said Terrence when I was thinking about this earlier, but I didn't remember that you had an older daughter too.
Mhm.
Your daughter's 16. Terrence's daughter, I don't think quite 16. But,
Nope.
are you preparing for the young man to come ring your doorbell and say he want to take your daughter? I
Anyway,
don't know. Yeah, anywhere, to Burger King instead of McDonald's.
I tell you, to the mailbox. Shoot.
been preparing for it for
Mm-mm.
16 years. And am I ready? Nope. But I
Okay.
know it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen.
Yeah.
But you know, um, just being able talk and have the discussions and just, you know, they gotta grow up.
Yeah.
They gotta grow up. They gotta grow up. They gotta make bad decisions. But like you said, I just gotta be here and help them learn from them.
Yeah.
We done had some roller coasters already, and
Mm. Oh, yeah.
my wife was throwing more body shots than I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's great that you can communicate and be all on the same page. But the end of the day, like I said, just plant that seed, and once you plant it, you can come back and water and nurture it as needed. But like I said, I ain't no fool. It's gonna happen. My little girl, she was varsity cheerleader, in the band. You know, oldest one smart. It just she been ready to go out of college. My baby girl, same thing, athletic. So they be coming around, and I be sitting back and watching and looking, and but we this yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So, I just got to bite the bullet and be ready for it. But the biggest thing is with the young man, I will say this. A lot of times, I'm not trying to be the father, but a lot of times kids don't know. A young boy don't know how to come into your house. Young man don't know how to talk to a man, because they don't. And like I was saying earlier, I see it often, you know,
Yeah.
because one kid said, chivalry is no more because it's 2023. I say, because I could be in a room, we can have a kids like room full of girls and boys, and don't you know some of the boys won't get up and like, coach, they got rights. They don't want to, I'm like, dude, but it's,
Yeah.
but that's the mindset that we're facing. So, as long as I like anybody else get to talk to them, and if they're willing to help and learn, and, put on the show in front of me, woo to woo. But at the end of the day, just teaching the young man, this is how you do it because they don't know how. A lot of kids don't know. They don't.
I say this, man. Even coming across ones that are aware enough to know that they need to at least put on a show in front of you. You got some that talk to you just like they talking to their little buddies. Like don't see you no different. Like they like you said, man, like that chivalry thing. And this was 10 years ago. I saw this. Like, and it's not just from the boys, it's the girls don't expect it. They don't demand it, they don't understand that that's what they supposed to get. So
And
it's
so,
literally like neither one of them know what's
and
what's in.
I think that's the thing about helping us as a community, especially us being men, and creating physically and mentally healthy men for the next generation is
Mhm.
making sure they understand whether you have a daughter or a male.
Mhm.
Like for me, I know for a fact that I have to teach my son how to approach a young lady and her father,
Mhm.
and her mother. But at the same time, if I had a daughter, um, and if he didn't approach us right, I wouldn't take it not right off top as, oh no, you can't date with him. It might be a teaching opportunity. Maybe he don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we pour into him too. Hey man, look, if you're gonna be
Yeah.
dating my daughter, this is what I need you to do. Like,
Exactly.
I want you to have this understanding. Like, I'm not gonna just dismiss you, but
Yeah.
I need you're gonna have to mature with her.
Yeah. You're going
We
through.
all gonna grow together. And if you can't do that, then you can be dismissed.
Yeah. Yeah. You dismiss yourself. It's the ball in your court.
Yeah.
We ain't just shut the door. We're gonna let you, get right before you walk through it. And I totally agree, man. I've always kind of been not necessarily nervous about that, but I didn't really have that kind of tutelage. Like I got it from the like mother raised in Mississippi. She taught me what she would expect, which has served me very well. But as far as from a male perspective, thinking about somebody approaching my daughters and whether or not I'd be, all or nothing or, willing to mentor or, because even being, my age, I'm still, I still have mentors in different aspects of my life. Like you kind of always learning and getting better. So I think trying to be reasonable, but also knowing that, I'm a little biased too.
Eric, we was talking a little bit before the show, and Eric had a question that was very, very interesting. Thinking about kind of where we were as men mentally, especially at a younger age in our 25, 26, basically around the time that you met your significant other. I'll let Eric ask the question and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So me and my wife was talking, and she asked me if I would be okay with one of my daughters dating me when we first met. And I had to really think about it. I'm like, he can't stay that way. It kind of go back to what, Rod was saying with, are you willing to, to grow? Are you willing to kind of take some tutelage and mentoring and, mature and grow along with her and, in that role? That would really have to be a big part of it. It really would be.
Eric, when was that question asked? How long
This was
ago was it?
this was maybe earlier this year or late last year.
Okay. I thought because we had the same discussion earlier this week. And, but it was just more of a oh man.
And I was just sitting here
this.
thinking about it as JP, be a daddy.
Exactly.
I think for me, when I met my wife, I think I would be okay with my son being that same guy. I was in a transitioning point where I was maturing a little bit when I met my wife. Now, that guy that I was like 6 months before that, maybe not.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I guess that's really kind of I kudos to all of us be able to honestly say, hey man, I might not have been the best guy to really be out here dating anybody at that time. And kudos to the wives and women they are, because as much as people may not want to admit it, your significant other helps you improve. That's our purpose. Of course, you have to do it for yourself, but at the same time, you're doing it for yourself and the livelihood of your family. And so y'all kind of improve and evolve into who you are today together. And so, kudos to her for helping with that. But 6 months before I started dating her, I don't know, I was coming off some different relationships, and let's just say I wouldn't I said like the minister say, I ain't always been saved.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you this, when me and Ashley first started hanging out, I had just broken up with somebody, and I had said, well, that's it till I graduate. I ain't fooling with nobody till I graduate. Ask me if that stood up.
Yeah, I know. I was your roommate.
Yeah. Didn't make it.
Well, what I was gonna say is, we actually basically grew up together, like grew through life together, and we learned each other more and more as the time went on. So we didn't have that 25 or 24, 23-year-old, learning curve shit. We was all
Hey, daddy do never stop, man.
Hey, but that's part of it. It's real life. As everybody can see. Again, we appreciate everybody for joining us. We know it's Men's Health Month, and what we're talking about is just being a father. As part of being men and growing and being the healthy person that we can be mentally, spiritually. One of those things that make us who we are is our journey through fatherhood. And so we've just been talking about, how fatherhood has changed over the time. And as JP is the perfect example of, you don't stop being a father. It don't matter what time it is, no matter what time of the day it is, you always on daddy time.
Exactly. Any given time. Boom.
Any given time. It's daddy time.
Yep.
Right. So I gotta go hide in another room. But like you said, you know, it's love is great. You know, with my 4 kids, man, I wouldn't. Man, that was the best thing that ever happened in my life. My wife and my 4 kids, man. And, you know, it's just like I said, you appreciate it more now than you did, you know, when, like you said, when they was 1, you know, 1 or 2, it's like, wow. But, you know, to see them grow up, to see them nurture, to see them come to their own individual, and man, it's just, I'm telling you, man, it really is a blessing. It's a blessing for me to be a part of their life, man. Forget anything, you know. I'm just so thankful that I'm a part of it, and you know, with them, and it's just amazing. But like I was saying about being my wife, you know, we started off young, 19, 18, 17, all that good stuff. So we literally had to grow through the 20s, grow through, like you said, you would think it's easy raising kids. Shucks, no, you know. That's, man, like you said, you thought you had money, you thought you had this, that, and the third. But, you know, and that's another thing we're saying about 2023, man. You know, the way that my parents raised me and how we handle different things is different from how her parents did things. But, you know, nobody told you, it was about 8 years, 7 years down the road, nobody said, well, shoot, don't worry about what nobody else did. Y'all got to make it work for yourselves, you know.
Right.
And that's a lot of stuff like that you miss out on because of the immaturity aspect of it. But, you know, with child raising and kids and just seeing them grow, man, it's every day's an adventure. And I'm telling you, man, it's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of. I pray and ask the Lord, let me see at least 70, you know. So
Got it, man. Got it.
Oh yeah. He'll give it to
You
you.
gonna be around.
You asked for it. You got it. You
you know he can do more than that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing.
You know, that's seven. What was it? 7 scores. That's easy.
Yeah. 3 scores and 10, man. I ain't trying to be greedy. 3 scores and 10, man. You know?
No, man. You ain't greedy. You just ask for what you need, man. That's all it is, man. Your kids need you. Stick around, man.
Yeah. That's one of the things, man. As we grow into men that God has us to be, as we continue to be, you know, the best fathers and that we can be for our little ones. You know, we have to remember too, as fathers, that we can't allow other stuff to sneak in. You know, we have to be mentally prepared for the things that try to sneak through the crack, whether it be through TV, through individual things, or things from work. And, you know, one of the things that I try my best to do is decompress the feelings and things that I have from work and not bring it home. Not saying that work just made me just all the way upset, but at the same time, you know, if I'm upset at something at work, it ain't my son's fault. Like, I can't come home and be mad and frustrated. Like, he don't know. He like, hey, you know, I'm just happy to see my dad. And so, you know, what are ways that you decompress some of those things on the way home, or if you're at home on the way when the kids are on the way home, or whatever you got to do? What are some of the ways y'all decompress some of the everyday things before you interact with the kids?
So, especially with it being the summertime, I have a unique situation because I work from home.
Yeah.
So I don't have a clear, I'm away from the kids. Okay, I'm going back to see the kids. Like, from the time they wake up, it can be sporadic. They pop in, pop out. You know, I go downstairs for lunch or something like that. They run up to me like I've been gone for 3 months. You know, and the the thing a while back, actually going through therapy, that I had to kind of start using. I don't even use it just with my kids, just in relationships, is looking at stuff is if it's a reasonable request or not. So is your kid being excited to see you a reasonable thing? Is that normal? Like if I'm feeling some type of way about it, it's probably with me. Something going on with me. So how do I need like what I need to do to try to get myself together? Same thing for my wife. Like she asked me to do something. Like, is it reasonable? Like, is it unreasonable? If it is, what's the compromise or what's the alternative or something like that? And a lot of times with the kids, it's like, you know, most of the stuff they're doing is kid stuff. They being reasonable for the most part. You still training them, so you still got to provide that structure. They can't just do anything at any time. But as far as like it's kind of like my mindset with interacting with them and what they're asking of me. I try to look at it like, is it reasonable if they ask, to go outside or something like that? It's like, yeah, y'all ain't been outside all day. Let's go. That's not, I don't feel like it, but let's go.
Yeah.
I tell
Go ahead,
you
Jay.
one. Well, he found me, so and he's finna jump. Okay, he survived. But but I tell you one thing, man. Like for me, like I have to take like today, I have to take 30 minutes off before I even get in my car and head home. And that's just to literally get away from everything. Because like for example, like today, I had 3 panel meetings. And I'm not gonna discuss them on air, but I'll talk about it after y'all. And when I discuss it with y'all, I swear to God, you're gonna get upset,
Yeah.
right? And but see, you know that stuff start weighing in on you, and if you don't be careful, I bring it home and I lash out, and so every day I take 30 minutes away. Before I get in my car and leave, I just step away. I walk, do something before I get in my car. Even if I just sit in my car before I crank it up, I do that, leaving work. But if I'm at home, like you said in the summer, whatever I might do, I get up early, 5 o'clock, 4:30, and I just take that moment to be by myself. Do a little devotion, just do something to be by myself, drink my coffee, and just relax. Because if I wake up cranky, if they wake me up, if somebody get me up, and I'm not up and active, I get frustrated, man, because my system, my body's out of whack. So that's one thing that I do to get myself situated.
And for me, and see, like for you, JP, you get up early and do that. For me, I do something similar, but I do it late. And so for me, I decompress. Like when everybody go to sleep, I deem that daddy time. Like little man go to sleep, wife go to sleep. I may stay up an extra hour or two and just sometimes I'm on the computer, sometimes I'm playing video games, sometimes I ain't doing nothing. Sometimes I might just literally just be sitting on the couch. I don't be doing anything. But I sometimes just need that time to kind of woo side out, release some stuff out into the atmosphere or whatever the case may be. And it's not one of those things where I feel like, and I know a lot of people, or people may think, oh, why don't you just talk to your wife or whatnot? It's not one of those things where it's something that I'm trying to keep from her. That's not what it is. It's just it's a release time for me when I have something I need to talk to her or work through and need some help with her. I can go to her and we can do that. She can help me release that. But sometimes it's not anything wrong. It's just I just need some time. And my daddy time is at night.
I do the same thing. Like I have to have that time, and I know things getting bad when that time is like later and later.
Yeah,
And it's like starting to impact me the next day. I'm like, yeah, I need to do something.
yeah,
Like, I need to get right because like it's really like a coping mechanism almost. Where like I have to have that time, like where I know I'm not gonna be interrupted. I know if I choose to sit here and look at the wall, I can mentally know I'm not worried about am I missing something? Did Ashley need me, or the kids need me, or they about to come up here. You know, just having that time where you can like just kind of like just whatever in your brain, just sit it down and like just take a break.
Right.
Man, did y'all know silence ever sounded so good though? Good God Almighty,
Listen,
that's the best thing in life.
Man, I felt so old the other day. I was telling the kids like, Lord, can I get some peace and quiet? I was like y'all 11, man. Like just sit down, chill out.
yeah, just chill out sometime. I tell my, and I have to be careful. Like JP said, I gotta be sure I let him be a child.
Mm.
But then sometimes they're like, okay, you child enough for the day.
Yeah. Hey, we about to start. Here's a little training. Okay, now it's time to
Like,
sit down. It's quiet time now.
like you've played and then you eat, and like every bite you take, you got to get up. No, sit down. Let's eat all the
Ooh.
food. Don't get up every time you put something in your mouth. Like, just stop.
Hey,
So it ain't just mine.
happy plate make happy bottoms.
I said, I heard that.
So it ain't just mine then. Okay.
Oh
That's
no. All them children on that.
So my problem is every time they get up, doggone dog eat their food. So now everybody got to do whooping. Them, the dog. Like, look, at a certain point, I'm like, he doing what he's supposed to do. He an animal. Y'all the ones need to sit down and finish.
Sit down and eat.
The table need to be clean. Like, that's what need to happen.
Oh,
I don't know where they got that from, man. They don't do it at school.
That's exactly what I be saying. I be like, when you go to school, you sit down and eat. You sit down, you eat all your food. They tell you to get up. You get up, go to the bathroom, and you done. But you come here, you take 2 bites, you get up. I'm like, what you doing?
It's like, where you going, man?
It's that amazing cooking because it gives no life.
Shoot. I feed y'all some slop.
That's what I ain't never I want to eat 5 carrots. But then eat that bite. And then I know you jumping off a couch, climbing on top of the roof, and it's just good. God says, shit, I don't need some big carrot.
Them super carrots, man. You know, made them move.
I'm telling you. Shoot.
But you know, that's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. You know, and it's funny. You know, we need to decompress, but it's funny to look at stuff like that and laugh. Oh, Ricardo, what did Ricardo say? I'm sorry. I think y'all hit it on the head. You got to have your man time where you can take a quick break from being a dad and husband and just be you. Yeah, absolutely, boss. Absolutely.
Yeah,
hey, and look, I want to say this too, because we did it. We tried it both ways. Me and my wife did it. And like I said, going back to trial and error, I tried to come home and talk to them about the problems, everything that we were facing. But, you know, one thing about it, man, your wife is your backbone. She's supportive. She does all everything. Man, and when I'm giving her my problems and hear her problem, you know, I can take her problems and say, okay, we move on. But, you know, it hurts them. They carry it, you know, and they put extra weight on them because, you know, you don't talk about the good. You just talk about the stuff that really pisses you off for the day. And, you know, but they take it anyway. I was causing more hurt to my wife than, you know, and that bothered me. And that's why I said, you know, you have to learn that, but you gotta have that moment to decompress. Because if you don't, you know, it's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was gonna say this earlier. I thought I was gonna move on, but you literally hit it on the head, JP. Men and women is different. Like the way that women decompress is they literally like let everything out. So them decompressing is talking about everything that's bothering them, and literally like at night when my wife is decompressing, like literally she'll go from sitting up in the bed and she'll start talking about stuff, and then she'll like kind of slouch over and start talking, and then before you know it, she laying down and she's still talking, like finishing up, like yep, and this too, yeah, like she's literally like going down as she's telling me everything about her day. Whereas for me now, I need to go and like set that down somewhere because she's done with it. But for me, like if I just go to sleep, like I'm thinking about everything that she was saying, still haven't really, kind of sorted through or decompressed from what I was going through. And I think guys, for us, decompressing is literally just like being able to power down for a second,
Yeah.
right? Like if it's something, because for us, either you can do something about it or you can't. If I can't, now it's just weird.
Yeah.
So I need to put it down, and I don't need to talk about it because just like JP was saying, we talk about it with my wife. She loves, she loves me. She concerned. If I tell her something on Monday, she gonna ask you about it on Tuesday. She gonna ask you about it on Wednesday. She gonna double check on Thursday. Monday night when I told her, I was done with it. Yep. I literally put it down. I told you about it, but as I say about it, I was putting it down because now I'm in action mode now. Either I can do something about it or I can't. If I can, I'm gonna do the thing. If not, I'm letting it go. And so I think we just decompress differently. I think that's important too.
Yeah.
Men and women to understand.
Most definitely important to know and understand how we decompress, especially as men and women, then as individual, like her being the individual, your wife being the individual, you being the individual. And we're kind of the same way, Eric. My wife do most of hers when she first get home. Like it has to come out immediately. It's not one of those things where she can wait until Cedric go to bed and we talk about it later. Like it comes out, like, and she got to get it out. And then sometimes, and I had to learn this, sometimes it's just her decompressing. Sometimes she's looking for a solution. Now, I had to understand which one is which, because sometimes we try and get her solution with all she want to do is decompress. And then other times she look for solutions, and I have to know that, oh, you want me to say something here. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I learned with Ashley, or she recently communicated with me, was that if she's like saying something over and over again, it's because she doesn't feel like I've heard her. She don't necessarily want a solution, but she just wants to feel like I understand what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I have to like kind of like dial in and focus in and really like give her my thoughts on what she's saying. Not necessarily fix it, but just kind of give it that attention that is comforting to her.
Yeah. And I had to understand that when to fix and when not, or when to problem solve and when not. Go ahead, JP.
No, that was it. I mean, I was just gonna say what you were saying, right, as well. But that's the human nature of a man. We trying to fix it. All right, this the problem, this issue. Well, just like Eric said, how can we fix it? But like y'all said, every time we're not supposed to fix it.
Yeah.
Understanding the balance between decompress and venting and all that, man, it's just amazing. Like I said, every book, man, life is amazing, man.
Yeah.
Because if you appreciate, like we talking about the kids making failures, the more failures you make in your marriage and you grow from them and you learn from them, man, that's what make it 10 times sweeter and better, man. And like I said, that's your reward right there, which is amazing.
Yep. Yeah, most as
oh, you heard that?
Oh, what he said.
I was looking at Ricardo.
We all have that fix it problem. We can't help it. It's just one of those things as men. I mean, if you think about it, when you, as a child, when you went outside to play, you played. If something broke, you fixed it. Like if there was a problem, if you was trying to do something and couldn't do one little part of it, you tried to fix it to do whatever. You didn't necessarily move on. You're like, I can fix that. And so we've been conditioned to fix stuff. We watched our daddy fix stuff, watch your granddaddy, your uncles, or whoever fix things, solve problems. And so, even in the cartoons that you watch, when Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, they come solve the problem. That's what they come do.
Yeah.
I'm here to save the day.
with my fists.
Yeah. With whatever I got to make it done. And so that's just kind of how we condition. And where, like Eric was saying, because my wife is the same way with the men, they're naturally nurturers. And if she feels there's something wrong, she's gonna ask, hey, what's wrong? How can I do to assist? And if I do have an issue and I tell her about it, you're right, Eric, she's gonna ask me tomorrow. Hey, you had such and such going on. I want to know, is it better today? Is it something I can do to help you? And I appreciate that. There's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate that. And
Exactly.
we have to be mentally prepared to release some of that and give that to her for assistance. But at the same time, they also understand, and I'm sure the many years all of us been married, our wives kind of already know us and know how we act. They understand sometimes we need to decompress before we can come and say whatever the issue may be. And sometimes it's just, little James down the street done made me a little hot. He about to catch these hands.
Yeah, ain't nothing you can do about that. So let me go play these video games real quick.
Let me go play these video games. Somebody go catch these hands today.
Exactly. Yeah, man, you're right, man. That's you're right about the nurturing and learning, ourselves. And Ashley told me something that I never considered, right? Because as a man, you don't want your problems to follow anybody else, right? You want to keep them to yourself, work through them. And she told me something, and it like broke me down. She said that because I don't share with her like the bad and the things that I'm struggling with, she don't feel included in my life. She don't feel valuable as a part of my life. And like, when she told me that, like it went against everything that I was trying to do. Like, everything that I always felt like was what I was supposed to be doing. And it made perfect sense because she would get frustrated because she would feel it. Right? She would feel like if someone right or something's going on, and I try to tough it out and work through it myself and stuff. And she was just kind of on the outside looking in. It's like, well, like I feel useless. I feel like there's nothing I can do to help. And so like literally like sharing that stuff with her like actually made us closer.
Yep.
Hey, Eric, you hit it on point right there, man. And like I said, with all the self help books, and all the expertise people that you kind of talk to and stuff, man, communicating with your spouse, communicating with your children, but listening to get an understanding, man, that's what make everything grow. Listen for understanding and communicating with a purpose. Not communicate to say I'm right or wrong, but man, that's what that's one thing that we preach about here, being able to understand what we saying, understand. Not to talk, cause I'm loud, my wife loud, my kid, we're loud. We loud nature. You know what I mean? And sometimes we could say a word or something. The tone could be excessive, but not the intent. And it man, it's just the constant communication, constant breaking down, and like I said, it's just something that you have to grow with and do every day, man. But that's what makes life grand, man.
Yeah. Working through stuff for real.
Yeah.
One of them things, man, you got to start listening and not hearing. A lot of times we hear what each other say, but we ain't listen to nothing the other said. And that was just something. I mean, that's part of marriage. Like I said, just like we talked about in the beginning, that book when they talk about being a father and a parent, you just throw it away. Same way that marriage book. And marriage
pick
book,
it up.
throw it away too.
This cute.
You gave me
y'all worked hard on that. Yeah, I can tell y'all worked hard on that. That's real cute.
It's a show. Just thinking of marriage and communication. There's a show my wife watches. And y'all wife may watch this. It's called Married at First Sight. And this show is they have experts. It's like a minister, a sex expert, and a relationship counselor. They get together and they put these couples together. And the day that they meet them is their wedding day. So they match these couples for their wedding day. They get married and they have 60 days where they go through marriage. They move in together, 60 days to be married, and at the end of the 60 days, they decide if they're gonna stay married.
Oh,
And I
so they
bring
literally
yeah,
like the first time they meet each other is like I do.
yes, they meet each other at the altar.
Hell
Like
no.
That's wild.
Yeah.
He took the words
they
out of my mouth.
they meet each other at the altar. And so
Hey, ain't no way.
watching the show, of course, there's differences because you really don't know what you're getting. But a lot of times the issue is communication.
Oh yeah,
Like one of them don't know how to communicate with the other, and it's a constant fight of you not understanding how I feel or you don't understand what I'm saying. And that's the biggest thing. Um, and you can tell how much communication plays a part in it because the track record of this show is terrible. Like the show is interesting. It really is interesting show. But as far as the ratio of people who stay married versus gets divorced, it is
Do
divorce
it
is
match up
really
with
high.
real life?
Well, I mean, I know the ratio in real life, but they are putting people together saying that they are good matches for each other. And it
Man, it's
85% of the time, it do not work.
that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense, man. Because even like just like I'm sure with y'all wives, like we were friends before we got married,
Absolutely.
and it's like we had a relationship, like a foundation before we even like became romantically involved and before we got married. So we were kind of like, oh, we good. We talk all the time. We good at communicating. But like learning how to communicate, especially through frustrating situations when the other person is saying stuff that you don't necessarily like to hear or want to hear, or even the way they saying it or the words they're using. Like the most groundbreaking thing for me um, was hearing that I need to assume that she loves me, regardless of what she's saying. I need to assume that even if it's something I don't want to hear, she's saying it with love, that she loves me. If I know that she loves me, then I know even if she says something that I don't like or you know is hurtful, she's not doing it to hurt me. She's not like maliciously trying to attack me. That's just that's just the point she's at in communicating her thoughts at that point in time.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, like it's literally like it's like two roads. It's like she says something and it's like I'm triggered. It's like I could go in the defense. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like what you say, and we go down that road and it always end in a disaster. Or I can be like, okay, so is what you saying this? Like this what you mean when you say that? And it'll like kind of diffuse the situation because 9 times out of 10, she was responding emotionally, but not with the intent to hurt me. So we can get around to understanding like the true meaning. Like this is what I was feeling.
Yeah.
It's rough, but it worked though.
Here, my pastor preached about that, what you just got through talking about last Sunday. And he
Oh
called
yeah.
it the topic would pass it on. And
Mhm.
and like he said, it was for Children's Day. And he was talking about how we're the failed generation, how we don't because we didn't pass it on. And
Mhm.
we did not, instead of talking to people out of love on how to get better and how to do things, we
Mhm.
simply try to ignore it. And once we ignore it and run from it, that's when
Mhm.
the extra problems occur. That's when this happens and that happens. And man, it was, but like I said, I guess you was at our church service last Sunday because you just brought it back up.
That's there in spirit, man.
I,
Yeah, man.
that's one of those things, man. Like you said there, JP. Um, do you know how to do it out of love? One of the questions that we have to ask as men as we get ready to end the show: do you know how to love? Are you, you say we in love, we say we love our family, but are you truly giving the ones that you love actual love?
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all saw, and I know JP might not have saw because you're not on social media, but Jonathan had put a video in our group chat, and it was about a husband and an ex-husband, and
Mhm.
how not okay. So
Yeah.
let me go back.
It ain't what you think, man.
It's a husband. His wife.
Because we know Jonathan.
No.
Touche.
No, this man married this woman, and then he also became friends with her ex-husband. And the dynamics of how they started off, or how he started off not really caring for him, and how he had to transition and see him as a man versus just an ex-husband. And how he had to heal from some of the things that she went through to be able to see him as an individual. And at the end of the video, he was talking about love and talking about in Corinthians and what that is. Before we go, if y'all oblige me here for a second, I want to end with that video because it's two men and they talking about this whole situation, and I think it's kind of perfect of to kind of end this conversation on being healthy, having healthy conversations amongst men, and also being able to love one another the way God intended us to do. So if y'all got anything else, because we're probably just gonna end it right after that.
No, sir. I'm good.
Play it, Doc.
All right. Let's see if I can get this thing here.
Y'all boys have been a blessing on tonight.
Oh yeah.
Now he just got a whooping.
Oh no.
They were all laughing at Eric. I thought he heard it.
Oh no.
And there we go.
Let me see here.
Is it just coming out on your side, right? No, so I can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
No.
I can try it again. Hold on, let me try it one more time. I hit the sound button with it. Let me try it again. All right, let's try it one more time here.
We became intentional with seeing each other.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I stopped looking at you as my ex's husband. I started looking at you as Mike Powell, someone who I trust my kids with.
Right.
Someone who's around my children, someone who I don't mind calling my kids bonus father.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? And I remember I was in prayer one day, man, in 1 Corinthians 13, the chapter on love, man. And I was praying, and I remember the Spirit said, everywhere I see love, put Otis.
Wow. That's good word.
And if I'm not doing that, I'm not really loving.
That's good word.
Love is patience. Otis is patient.
That's good word.
Love is kind. Otis is kind. But this point got me. Love keeps no record of wrongdoing.
Man, say that.
Otis keeps no record of wrongdoing. Do I?
Man.
So I had to learn how to let go.
That's good.
I had to learn how to let go because I'm thinking I know how to love, and I think I'm properly loving. Man, we don't scratch the surface of what real love is.
Man,
real love is in the sacrifice.
Yeah, when he said the love is in the sacrifice, that was it, man. You muted, right?
That was crazy powerful, man. Shout out for JP for sending it. And just think about it, if you look at that chapter in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it's talking about what love is. Love is kind, love is patient. And like he said, if you replace that with your name, you know, are you truly loving? You know, are we scratching the surface of what love is? Are we sacrificing the way that we actually supposed to? I think that statement at the end is one of the ways that we as men can look at our lives and move that forward. So, man, that was great. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody for taking some time out being with us tonight. Man, we're trying to be the best men that we can be. I hope that all the men and women, you're trying to be the best that you can be. But like always, we love you. We appreciate you, but you ain't got to go home. But you got to get up out of here. Deuce.
Full circle.
Yes.
Support them the way y'all want to support them. The Lord will make a way. He will provide.
Hey,
He will provide.
That brother laying it on.
hey, look.
I agree with Terry. Because, I mean, we grew up in a different time. Like, I feel like how some of our fathers, if they were raising some of these kids, it'll be problems on every level. Because, like Terry said, like, you may not get that affection from your dad, which I can always admit. Growing up in my house, dad wasn't affectionate, but he provided, he did everything. Like, I understood. You know, but like Terry said, I think now you have to go that extra mile because kids need it. You know, our young black boys, girls, they need that from both sides, from the father and the mother.